Our next speaker is Fred DeJarlais. Do you want to just drive?
Just try it. Yeah.
Can everybody hear us virtually?
Yeah, we can hear.
Awesome. Thank you.
Courtney Spikes, our Southern California Vice President, and also a volunteer for our journal. She writes every issue an Apps for Maps article. And for the fall journal, which our members will be receiving in the next week to 10 days, she prepared an article entitled Mapping Mother Nature. And I think that's particularly appropriate during these days. At the time, I suggested she sometimes consults with me. For those not familiar, I'm the publisher of the journal. I suggested River Runner. I was so enthused with it. I asked Tom and Mike if I could give a short presentation of the app at this BAM meeting. Little did I realize that soon after I made the request, my daughter, a San Francisco firefighter, would be heading off to not just one wildfire, but 3 wildfires this year so far. She's just returned from a 2-week stint at the Dixie Fire, and I'm sure you've all read about that fire. The last time I looked, it was well over 500,000 acres, and it was only 31% contained. If I have time, I might bring up that application and show you the robust nature of information based on GIS, maps and data that's available to the general public, but also available, which is a bit of a surprise to me, how available this technology was to each individual firefighter. They're trained to use it. They carry their smartphones to the fires. If they get trapped, they use their smartphone to get out of the fire, find the best route away from these infernos. But back to the app, really a more playful experience. Demonstration that got me hooked on the Map Society was in 2002. My first meeting was at the Oakland Public Library, and you know who the speaker was. It was David Rumsey. And who else to entice somebody into the world of cartography? His talk involved a virtual tour of Yosemite Valley and basically a fly-through of Yosemite Valley. And he took it one step further, really. He had a digital terrain map model, and he draped a historic map over the valley and then traveled as if I was in a hang glider or a glider up that valley. Well, I never turned back. Roadrunner, or a River Runner, uses similar technology. It's a map of every water course in the US. It's very simple to use. You enlarge, well, let's see if I can find the appropriate.
That's it. That's it.
There we go.
You want?
Should be able to have a plus and minus. I should be
Oh,
able to.
oh, hold on. I gotta move this,
Okay.
thing is in the way. Sorry about that. That's what you want, right?
That's it.
Okay.
Okay. So the first thing I did when I started getting involved is this application. And it is addicting. Was I went to my hometown, which happened to be right along the Mississippi River in Hennepin County. And I looked for the Anoka Champlain Bridge. And I dropped some water right beside that bridge. In fact, that bridge is where, 100 yards or so up from that bridge is where I learned how to swim. And well, look at that. It just started running on me already. Okay, so I dropped it. And so there's a little slider. So that drop of water now is moving towards the Gulf of Mexico. And what was so intriguing about this demonstration to me was how different this river is. When I grew up, where I swam in this river, and when you start moving hundreds of miles to the south, the whole nature of that river changes. So we're, let's see where we're getting now. I'll probably have,
So there's a red dot that shows where you are,
yeah, so
right? We're down to the
So-
Minnesota.
I think we're still,
Iowa
we're
border.
still in Minnesota. Well, we wanted to go a little faster.
Further.
We just click there and it gets a little higher up and it just goes faster down that river. So we'll go even faster. Probably see St. Louis here pretty soon.
That's really amazing.
Don't know if I can just barely, we're about, we're in Missouri right now. So we're coming up very quickly
To the Ohio River.
to the Ohio River, and then Arkansas and Tennessee. So pretty soon, and you can see it right now, the curves and turns, the Oxbow Lakes becomes a very, very different kind of river as we approach Louisiana and the Gulf of Mexico.
Fred, we have a question. Does the app work for rivers outside of the US?
It doesn't, unfortunately. I wish it did, because the other river I looked at, the next river I looked at was, of course, the Red River of the North. Okay, here's a Mississippi that obviously mostly travels south. Well, I wanted to look at Red River of the North, which obviously travels north. And it's not really surprising when you know something about the topography, but the Red River of the North, as you get into North Dakota and northern Minnesota, looks an awful lot like the Mississippi River in Louisiana. The land is so flat, it meanders all over the place on its way to Hudson Bay. And so I wish very much this is application moved into Canada, so that I could trace that that wonderful river into Canada. Clearly, we have some exciting locations to visit, and I've only looked at maybe a half dozen rivers, and of course I chose the Colorado. It's really something on a big screen. I have a 24-inch monitor in my office. So going through the Grand Canyon with this application is pretty special. Same thing is true of again, repeating David Rumsey's tour of Yosemite Valley using this application, which is more or less, it's scripted, obviously. This is something that you can do yourself, really, in Google Earth. But this is something, so this developer has done basically all the work for you.
Yeah, that's great.
The other
Thank
one
you.
I think I'll attempt to find here is,
I think we need to,
move on.
yeah, well,
How about maybe the Snake River? Maybe? That's all right. We'll quit now. To get back to the wildfire application, I would recommend that people who are really interested in looking at our wildfire situation, not only in Canada, but throughout the United States and into Canada, into Mexico, that they investigate WYFIRE, WYFIRE. It's a free application, very robust, satellite updates daily, real-time weather reports, temperature, humidity, wind speed, wind direction. It's a
Wi-Fi.
WYFIRE, yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Fred.
Thank
Thank you.